All right. Very good morning to all of you. I think we can start the session. Please settle down. So, guys, first of all, I hope that you all are doing good. Your family members are good, especially in this COVID situation. We have some good news in this last 1 or 2 days that the vaccine is on the way. And I just pray that everybody is going to be good. Um, so, I thank you all for joining this session. My name is Deprakash. I'm going to be your guide, tutor, your right left hand in this entire course. You can ask me any queries during this entire session anytime. So I do want to inform you in the very beginning that all of our sessions are recorded. So from here onwards, that is the first session. So in case if you've missed anything, if you skipped anything during the session, don't worry, you can do the same thing, or you can have the session recorded and you can get this entire information afterwards also. But it would be always great, as much as possible, try to be in the session, because the real time knowledge is always best than the recorded thing. So in case if you have any question at the same time, spontaneous questions you can ask. That would be great, like, to keep the question for the next session. Still, in case if you have any other functions, anything during this entire next lectures in this course, you can always have the recorded sessions. So we have an entire Google Share Portal drives where we are actually collaborating with you, sharing my slides, my sessions, and also we are doing the assignments test on that. So it's going to be completely entire course how we are doing offline. Similar way now we are doing online. Apart from that, I again thank you to BCRI that we all come together on this platform for the learning about this pharmacovigilance course. So something about myself in the beginning. I have been working in the field of pharmacovigilance, clinical research, IT since last 14 years or so. Since 2006 or 7, I can say, I started my industrial journey. And since last 10, 11 years, I have been more focused in the pharmacovigilance field. I worked in many multinational companies, including Wipro, TCS, Cognizant, including the other pharma companies like Absor. So during this entire journey in this many industries, I have been worked. I have actually worked for many clients. Some of them are the international clients. Few of them also from the national clients, the Indian clients. So these are all major pharma companies, major pharma giants. International clients I can name some of them is like Pfizer, GSK, Roche, Merck. Similar way, the international clients also Cipla, Sun Pharma, all these things I worked. So I have a good exposure related to their pharmacovigilance related work. Apart from that, regulatory authorities around the world, I have certifications from EMA, that is European Medicine Agency, certifications from FDA related to the related works like courses and other things. So overall, I can say that good experience which I can share with you in this entire course. And not only in a single department, I work in multiple departments. When I'm going to give you an overview around this course, I will tell you that in which departments I work, so that in this entire journey, whenever you have any question, you can ask me in detail. I can provide you the entire information. Okay. Apart from that, as per my experience, apart from that, during this entire journey, we are going to have 1 or 2 dedicated sessions related to your career related questions in PV, pharmacovigilance. So whenever you have any questions, you can ask me at the same time also. But if you want some detailed thing, please note it down. We will going to keep a specific career related session, and we are going to discuss related to your view that what is the goal for you, where you are right now, all this thing. As per my experience, I'll try to answer those questions. Okay, so I think a good amount of information from my end about myself. Now I think we can move related to this pharmacovigilance course overview. Today, our most of the time will go related to this overview, because I will try to give you entire information that how our next few days, or I can say next few lectures, will go ahead. How, like, what topics we are going to cover. We are going to cover almost every aspect of PV which you need to know in the beginning and also during the career while you are in the industry. So we will touch up every aspect. Today I'm going to give you a brief about every single aspect, so that you can have an overview that what is our roadmap for this next course lectures. Okay. And then in case if you have any question, let me know right away. You can chat on the, you can put on the chat box. I always prefer you can like after the slides, if you feel any question is there, you can even like excuse me and then ask me whatever questions you have. So no need to like, just wait on the chat box. In case if there is any urgent question which you want me to interrupt and ask, feel free to ask. Okay. Otherwise, you can, if you are feeling okay with chat box, you can drop it on chat box. I will just stop once I complete my slide. Okay. So let's move this with this entire course. So I hope this, the visual is okay. So we are going to have, as per our course modules, we are going to have these major modules in our entire course. However, these are not only the course modules. Apart from this, we are going to do a certain number of other activities like practice cases, quality related aspects we are going to touch up. Any last minute things which I think or I am going to keep, I will share with you that these are the other things which are maybe not included in our course module, but additional things. Okay. So entire course are divided into this 6-7 modules, that is drug discovery and development. In this entire, in this part, we are going to discuss more also related to our pre-market, that is pre-marketing part, related to our drug discovery, pre-clinical, clinical, all this thing we are going to do. Also, a bit about post-marketing surveillance that is going to be covered over here. Once this is done, then we will also going to touch up a bit about in this same section, or we can say that there is one more part which is going to be a general introduction to the PV, where we are going to understand the history of the PV, how it evolved, where we are right now, what are the basic aspects of the PV, what are the things, the definitions, or what are the departments in PV. So this will give you an overall general overview about the pharmacovigilance. That will that will give us a roadmap in the pharmacovigilance field. After that, we are also going to touch up the regulatory aspects of PV, like different regulatory bodies are there in the around the world. What are some of the common guidelines which we need to follow? That is the international guidelines we need to follow. Okay. We will also check what are the important timelines for reporting the cases. There are many different types of cases which we need to check the timelines. What are the conditions? Okay, what are the criteria for the reporting to the health authority? We also see a database. Again, one more thing I would like to tell you in the very beginning, that we will have entire slide or dashboard like PPT in such a way that you can have a very good idea about the software of the pharmacovigilance. I'm not naming it right now. We have many softwares, but I took one which is running at 90 or 99% of the industry are working on that software. So we are going to have a glimpse about related to the all the screenshots of the thing, so that we can easily understand that how and what we need to do in the software. The reason being that we as BCRI, we cannot have this software, or like you or me also, we cannot have the software, is because these softwares are only, these PV softwares are only given to the industries who are actually running some kind of pharmacovigilance and reporting to some authority. These are some of the prerequisites which software companies check. They are not providing us like a free softwares or something like that. However, the good news is that since I worked over there, since we have this slides and information, we can easily understand those software. Those are not very tough, easy tasks, but the things we need to understand those things in depth. So we are also going to understand that PV database. And the drug and ADR dictionaries, there are many dictionaries which we need to understand. It is not like our Oxford or other dictionaries, it is a pharmacovigilance dictionaries. Having dedicated terminologies, having dedicated linking, delinking, so that we will understand. Causality assessment is another important thing which we are going to touch in depth, okay, in one of the lecture. So that is going to be a very important part. Narrative writing, we will not only learn, but we will also practice the narrative writing. It's very important part. Okay. Another thing, we are going to complete this entire journey of this PV in around 40 or so lectures. It may be +1, -1 sometime of this way because it depends on group to group. Like if they want some kind of revisions or they have questions, we will go further. Because until unless you are okay, we cannot finish it up. So it always depends that how you are doing good. So I will only leave your hand on when you are going to say me that now I'm self-sufficient and let me just have one opportunity and I will grab right. That is the thing which we need at the end of the session. And believe me, you will have that much of confidence. Only thing is, please be with me during all the lectures. Please feel free to ask the questions. Be very attentive. That's the only thing which I need from you. Okay. Okay. So entire thing in detail. Now we are going. So in the drug discovery development, we will see that discovery and the development of a drug, very basic research part. We will see in depth also. These may be not very important in PV when you are in the PV industry, but yes, in the very beginning days, these topics are very important because this can be asked, some questions can be asked from this topic during your interview. Clinical research, when the drug get tested into the animals, at that time, that entire thing also we will try to learn what are the important aspects we need to remember. The clinical research, very important because on this basis only PV can be started afterwards. So we need to understand in depth. And right now, I think not only us like medical people, we understand this clinical research, but also the non-medical people in this COVID situation, they are also like, looking very keenly on all the phases of clinical research. So this is also another important area which we need to understand. Drug review, once the drug is going to be in the market, so how the drug get reviewed by the authorities. So that is also important, very important, because that will take you to the pharmacovigilance. Because once you are in the PV, you need to understand that why this drug is in the, how this drug actually came in the market. What are the filters it actually went through to came into this market and why this PV is so important. That's why we need to understand the drug review. Then PMS, post-marketing drug safety monitoring. So that is another surveillance. That is another aspect. I can say it's a kind of a brief highlight of the pharmacovigilance. A very small highlight that like how we are doing the post-marketing surveillance. Once we are going to complete with this entire thing, we are going to move to the introduction to the PV because we have our base clear. So it will give us a good understanding of the PV. We will start with some of the definitions. We are going to read, understand. Okay. Then we will also see the history of the PV in depth. There are some questions will definitely come from these topics. The scope and purpose of the PV. So why is PV important? What are the under the scope of pharmacovigilance? What is the purpose? Definitions, like understanding of the PV. And then basic concept, some terms and definitions which we need to know. That is very important. This is the topic which will cover up. It's definitely going to be asked during the interviews. Another thing is general idea of the PV and the types of AE reporting. This is the part where we are actually going to start slowly, the ICSR, I can say. Okay, not even ICSR, just the basic reporting. Yeah, there are many other reporting. So we will just actually start core PV in a very initial form over here. We will get a general idea related to the practical PV part and different types of reporting, how we need to report, what are the timelines to report. This will be taken care of. Types and source of data, that is another important thing, because there are many sources from where we are actually getting the information and we are processing the cases. So that also we need to understand. Then the process of pharmacovigilance, signal detection, and drug recall. So this is this actually signal detection will come in the signal section, so don't worry over here. But yes, we will just also see the drug recall part. In case if there is any problem happens during the PV, there can be option of drug recall by the authorities. That is something of her section we can also see over here. Clear opportunities I have highlighted over here just to say that this is actually included over here in our entire course forum which we receive. However, this I am going to keep as a separate section. I want you to first learn everything about this course, and this section I'm going to keep it in the end. However, in the beginning, by this time only, you will have an entire session on the different departments of PV, because then only you can start keeping in mind that which department I can go, which department is good for me, which department is not for now but for future. So you can start making a roadmap in your mind related to your PV career. So that I'm going to take up over here in between. Once that is done, then related to your career, how you need to hunt, how you job hunt and all these things, that I'm going to discuss at the end, because we need to first understand all the aspect of PV and then only we can attack on that part. Because if you keep that part, job hunt and other things in the mind over here right now, you may be not able to focus on the other parts of this thing. Okay, so here I'm going to provide you the departments and other things. Once that is done, then we can start our core ICSR individual case safety report part, where we are going to have many topics. Okay, I can say that by the time we are going to complete the ICSR, we are going to be at least somewhere half of the session. Reason being, I am always keeping my pace very slow, or I can say okay pace in this session, because this is the heart of PV. Okay. Like 80% of the questions in interview or in your future when you're jumping from one to other positions is going to be covered till this part. After that, there is going to be other important parts, but that is, I can say, is a very high authoritative parts or high departments where you want to go, but your base is going to be here only. Your journey should be start from here only. In the beginning, we want to attack on this part in depth. Okay, so we are going to understand the introduction to the, we are going to introduce to this ICSR. We will also see that what is case receipt, the dates, IRD, those terms, the duplication check, data verifications, how we need to do, what is booking, registration, data entry, how we need to do the coding of AEs and the drugs, what are the different dictionaries which we need to use over here. What is causality assessment? Okay, this part I have mentioned that is going to be a separate module. However, this is a part of it, so we will cover it up over here. So causality assessment, different types of scales we need to do. Okay, who is going to do this part? Then there are terms like expectedness, relatedness, labeledness that we will understand. That is another important thing. Case narrative, we are going to study about the depth in the theoretical part, and then we are going to do the practical of the case narratives. We are going to write the case narrative after understanding the way how we need to write. Then after, we are going to do the quality check. Quality check is a part which is QC on the cases. We will also see, this is again, it's not going to be a separate part, but most of the sections will cover somewhere or otherwhere this part. You can hear me using this word a lot of times. Over there only you will understand. So quality check is going to be covered itself in many other lectures. But when we are going to complete this entire thing, we are going to check again that if we covered all the parts. Reporting or submissions, the timelines, who is going to do, what is going to happen once the case is done. So we'll check over here. Deletion, nullification, that is another important aspect. Once the case need to be deleted or nullified, we will decide over here. IRDs, day zero importance. This is very, very important part related to the interview, which we need to understand. Case linkings. So there are not only simple cases, but there are different spatial case I can say are available related to mother baby pregnancy or breastfeeding mother cases. All these are complicated, a bit complicated cases which we also need to learn. Okay, maybe it is not going to ask in the very beginning of the interview if you are very going for a fresher. However, if you have this thing knowledge, then definitely I can bet with you that within a year or two you can easily jump from one position to another position compared to your peers, because these are the best understanding which we can have in the very beginning. People actually pay a lot of their time to understand these things. Okay, these are called special case scenarios, including LOE, off-label use, misuse, overdose, pregnancy, medication error. Okay, then we are going to do some real-time case scenarios, the ADR forms we are going to fill and other things we are going to do. Then also, after completing the basic theoretical part of all it, then we will also see the database and what are the various types of softwares database which are available in the market. And as I promised you that one of the database which is running very much in the market, on which we are doing more or so, most of the companies are actually purchased that software, that we are going to do it in detail. I can promise you one thing over here, that once we are going to be done with this amount of things, you are going to be very much clear that in case if I got the interview for ICSR part tomorrow, you can easily attack right away. Okay. Apart from that, we are going to understand some regulatory aspects of PV, various important guidelines like WHO, UMC, CIOMS, ICH, GCP, European guidelines, that is EMA guidelines, GVP modules, we can say that, and other different regulatory authorities. We are going to understand that what are the authorities which are around the world available. These are also important topic related to the interviews. And then we are going to cover, apart from that, we are going to start the second half of the entire journey that is related to the other topics, where we are going to understand the aggregate reports in depth, different types of aggregate reports, and then the signal reportings, what are the signals, what is risk management plan and the risk minimization. So this is another important part of our journey, which we are going to see in the second half of the session. Apart from that, we are going to also complete another important topic, that is various types of drug dictionaries, adverse drug related dictionaries, and then coding of the events. All this thing we are going to see. It includes WHO dictionary, CodeStart, MEDLA, DR. These dictionaries, apart from that, there are one or two more dictionaries which is not listed over here, which will be taken care during our slides. SAE and the seriousness criteria is written over here. However, we are going to cover it up earlier in our ICSR itself. Causality assessment is almost done during the ICSR when we are understanding. There are many scales, assessment systems are available, which we need to understand. Narrative writing is again another topic which is written in our model is separate. However, ICSR will cover up most of the things. Okay. There are various steps, there are various theoretical part, various steps are there, in the narrative writing that is going to be covered. Apart from that, we are going to cover some extra topics, entertaining things. That is, we are going to understand the narrative writing, then ADR reporting we are going to do. These things we are going to do practical. So usually what we do is I usually give cases. We first do some cases together, and then I try to give you the cases so that you can work as per your convenience at home. And the form and other things you will get like a Word forms, and then you can fill it up wherever you find challenges. We will do a discussion in the next class about all those cases, so that we will see that where you are, what is the gap, and then we will try to fill the gap between knowledge gap between us. So when that is done, then we will do some more cases. So like 3-4 entire dedicated days, we are actually putting it up on the ADR reporting understanding and also the narrative reporting. Okay, that goes hand in hand together. So that we will do in a practical sessions while we are almost completing the ICSR. During that time, we are going to also complete this topic. Okay, so this is very, very important, considering that in interviews we are getting this type of things. Quality in PV, so that is another part, kind of an additional lecture, which I personally, when I was working on this part in my last few sessions, training sessions, I thought that this is another important thing, which may be not very important for you in the beginning, but if you have an understanding of this thing, then it would be really great, because you may have another part of your career in that department. It's a quality department in PV. You may have a career in that side if you are interested, because sometimes, especially female staffs, they are more interested in that part. That is my understanding as per my last experience. So I have this, I handled completely entire program management I did on this quality part in the PV. Had a good experience. So I thought, to share a specific lecture on this part also. We have also the PV guidelines, which are international guidelines on quality. We'll discuss that part also. I'm sorry that narrative and ADR is mistakenly typed over here. So that I'll remove it up. Apart from that, there is going to be another lecture related to the PV in India, where we are right now in India. What are the concepts of PVPI? What is the roadmap? So that will also be we are taking care of in this lecture. So that is another important thing which we cover it up. However, I can say in the very beginning, in India, we are not at very, very par compared to the other international other countries at the international level. But we are at a very good stage right now, where we almost going to go and run from here onwards in the in the field of PV, I can say. Because some of my colleagues who are there in the National Pharmacovigilance Center, I'm always getting update that where we are right. We are doing very good in India also, and that's why this is one of the very good field at this time. Reason being, our country itself has not started PV in this much pace, but definitely, since this is a not only international requirement, but this is something which actually a human requirement is there, the pharmacovigilance. That's why all the countries need to do this thing. So we are already running at a good pace. I cannot say that at a very fast pace, but we are running at a very good pace. And hopefully in the next down the line, within 5 years or so, you will see all these PV aspects in India itself. And you can understand that we have many companies, pharma companies in India. All the companies need to do compulsorily PV. This is a requirement, going to be a requirement, as this is there in the other country. So that's why this is one of the very bright field career in at this time. Okay, and especially in our country, we are already have the experience from other country pharma companies, and we can, while we are going down the line 5 years, you are going to have a good experience where you can have a good department, a good position in this department. Only thing I need from entire all this courses is your attention, your questions, and whatever you can sweat in this entire course. Please try to put your whole attention as much as you can. And then believe me, by the end of the course, you will be at that level that you can easily start your job hunt on the very next day or before even ending of this session. Okay, and apart from this, as I mentioned, that before we end all this sessions, that PVP India or quality, before that only I'm going to put a 1 or 2 dedicated sessions as per your requirement on the career. That is going to be your career related discussion. That is going to be the ball in your court. You are going to ask me whatever your questions, and then I will try to answer your things as per my experience with the interviews I have done in last many years. As per I have worked with many teams, my different departments in the pharmacovigilance, clinical research, IT companies. I can ask me, so I can try to answer your questions. At BCRI, we are committed to answer, do whatever we can so that you all can sail through, and you all can give us a good star ratings and hands that we are doing good. So your satisfaction is must. That is, I can tell you. Apart from that, one thing which I need to actually say in the beginning, I want to say you that I'm going to further introduce me in the next session or so, and I'm going to ask one by one about yourself so that I can be introduced with you also. So I want to know you one by one, because that is going to set up my understanding that what is the expectations from your end, how much in depth I need to go or not. So I'm going to discuss with you about yourself in next or maybe next to next lecture, when we are all going to be settled down that what is going to be our batch. So our batch is almost done. However, maybe we are expecting some more to be add up so that I can finalize and complete the batch. Once that is done, then we all can know each other while in this forum. So I'm going to ask you about yourself in next or next class. Okay. Uh, Apart from that, any questions you have right now? Anybody? Feel free to chat or on the, you can just come on directly on unmute and ask me whatever your questions. And then we can,
I have a question regarding this. So, which is the book? Is there any book wherein I can refer to that?
Shweta, right?
Yes.
All right, Shweta. That's good question. Frankly speaking, for PV in market, if you want to search, you can find few books. I cannot say a very good number of books. I cannot suggest one right now, because when you are with me in this lecture, I can give you entire thing which is available as per the international guidelines and as we can directly read. We even don't need the books at this time, because this course is very practical course. We need to understand the concepts related to the PV in industry. Books can tell you the theoretical parts which are just very very theoretical, which we need to mug up and just go with that way. But I'm going to tell you what is actually in industry and what is going to be asked during the interviews. That is important thing. So don't worry about the book at the beginning, I can tell you, because that is going to take you some other way. I'm going to give you my slides and other things after every lecture. You can just go with that, try to understand every concept. That's more than enough. Okay, because in this entire way, that is enough knowledge to have while you are going for the career in PV. Book after that, if you want, if you want me to also tell you some other books, I can tell you one or two books. You can read it up, or in the midway of the lecture, if you want, still let me know. But as much my knowledge says, please don't go with the book. I can suggest you, because you are going to be confused with that much of theoretical part which is written in the book. Just understand the concepts. That is more than enough. All of you, I'm just saying, please also don't go with other websites, other concepts, other things, because that is going to be too much knowledge in this digital world right now. Just understand the concept which is good for you at this moment to hit the jobs. That is something I can tell you, Sweta, right now. I don't want to pick up any specific book at this moment.
Okay, I had one more question.
Yes.
Uh, so, I don't have any pharmacology knowledge
Mm-hmm.
background, so just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to know how do it go? Like, I should be prepared for this, or is it
What is
fine?
your background, Sweta?
I am from BMS from Ayurveda.
Okay. So I am not sure, Sweta, if you were there in my first introduction session or not. But still, the answer is if you are from BMS, BDS, or any of the medical background, first,
Mhm.
or from any pharma related background. I'm not saying specifically to pharma peoples, but any background which is related to pharma also, where you have learned about the drugs or the life science, the body parts, not only the drugs but related to the biological part. So if you have that understanding, you can easily come into the PV. I have the people next to me when I was at the very beginning level, who are from the PDMS, BMS doctors, microbiology, and then biotechnology, all these things, who people who are working over there. Only thing is they need is they come over there and they are working along with me, where I have the pharma background, is that they have the knowledge about the PV. they know a few drugs, few things which are the related to the pharma to crack the interview. Once you're in the industry, you automatically know the things where you're working. So that is something which I can tell you at this moment, Shweta. So don't worry, you are in the right place, and you can easily get through in this PV. I have seen many BMS people who are easily getting it into it. So no need to worry about that part. And the drug and other things, I'm going to like, in case if you want, Shweta, and others also, if you would like me to give you another specific lecture or any specific slides or things, I will provide you some one or two things which I used to, like, prepare when I'm, like, working or giving lectures on clinical trials. So that time also I have this slides or the material related to the drug I can share with you. You can just go with some drugs, some important drug related actions, and just remember few things for interview. That's it.
Yeah, that would be helpful if you would do
Sure,
that.
sure, sure. Let,
Yeah.
let me know, Shweta, when we are in the course, after
Mhm.
understanding, basic understanding of PV, just
Mhm.
like, remind me about this thing, and I will give you this thing. And if it is possible, I will take a session for all of you on the drug so that we all can refresh our knowledge also. Okay, please remind me. That's the only request I have, because I have a dedicated course set up, everything. So in between, I need to fit up this, like, session. But just remind me, because sometimes I forget about this.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
So, and I had one more thing. Like,
Mhm.
you told me there are a lot of department in this.
Yes,
So, which
yes.
one has the more scope right now in the market?
I can tell you right now, it's ICSR. Only one line, believe me. Because the beginners, if you are from the beginner in this PV, that's the
Mhm.
first thing which you all can easily attack and get into it. That's the only thing I can tell you at this moment. However, there are other departments which I can tell you, and what are their pros and cons, I will tell you. And then only you can easily decide, okay, that may be another choice, or that may be the cup of tea for me and not the ICSR at that time. Okay. So it is not going to be a long while, maybe after one or two important sessions, like, not one or two, but I can say that introduction part and then basic of PV. After that, I'm going to take up this departmental part. So then, because then only you can understand that, after understanding a bit about PV, then you can easily understand what are the departments.
Okay.
All right.
Um, and I see this, it says only the scope, whatever it is in PV in India only. Do you have little more knowledge about this? If you could share about that, it would be good.
PV, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Yes, the scope of PV in India, you
Mhm.
told about that. So, do you
Mhm.
have internationally also more
No, no, that
experience?
is so, Shweta, that is what we are going to do. Our, I can say 99.999% of the understanding and everything is going to be on international only. India is going to be a touch up, which I would like to give you at the end, just to tell you that in case if you face any question related to PVPI, that is our program, pharmacist program in India, or anything related to the PV in India, you can answer it. I don't want to keep any stone unturned when you are going and the interview. So that's why PVPI or pharmacovigilance in India is very at the niche stage, which I want to touch up at the end. But our entire thing is going to be go with whatever the international guidelines says, and internationally we are doing.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
which I like, I when I mentioned that I work for the national pharma companies also, I would like to refine myself over here that those national pharma companies also doing the pharmacovigilance while they are selling their products in European market or the American market. So the PV which I have also did for those companies is basically for the ones which we did the PV as per the FDA guidelines or EMA guidelines or the Japanese guidelines, where they are selling the product. In India, the PV is at the very niche stage. Hardly you will find anybody who is outside doing the PV. Actually, there are few centers where they are doing the pharmacovigilance. Right?
Thank you.
All right, Shweta. Anybody else? I think Mohini is raised the hand. Mohini, you can ask your question if you have. I'm not sure. Mohini Singhal. It is showing me that hand is raised. If you have the question, feel free to ask. Um, Guys, the others, let me even name all of you who are there. That would be great. Mohini is there, Akash, Christy, Harish, Pragati, Saleja, Shalini, and then there is Sheena, Shilpi, Shweta. Very good. So, there's one more thing I would like to touch up here is that, as per my understanding with our admin team, Pankaj and others, our session is going to be in the evening. I think it's going to be like 8 to 9, so that it's not going to disturb anybody's any of yours working. In case if you're all working, some of you are working or doing the studies, so that would be a good time. Every day, 1 hour, we are going to meet and understanding this concept. So that is going to be our lecture, path. From I think Monday onwards, we will meet at 8 p.m. in the evening. This today only we have this session in the afternoon. Okay, so that is going to be our timing part. All right. Any other questions? I can move up to the first lecture if you all like me to start now, or if you have any question, you can ask me so that we can I can answer your question. So apart from Shweta, anybody has any question, guys? Whoever is actually joining as a guest also, please feel free to ask the question. Don't worry, you all are welcome. So in case if anybody like a guest over there, please ask me whatever questions you have. Okay. So I think considering the time, I can at least start a bit in the first session or the first slide, so that we can at least start our drug discovery part. I think we can majorly focus more from Monday onwards, so that we can make up our mind from that time, how just we are going to spare our 1 hour every day. So we'll just make up our mind by that time. Yes, let me share another dashboard. 1 second. I think I can just continue. So this is the drug discovery and development we are discussing. So I was just telling you that this first question, that almost 1/3 of the duration of our entire professional career, if we consider our 40 years of career, 1/3 of our entire career, you can see that we are putting it up on only one drug discovery. Even not post-marketing till we are going to complete a clinical trial. You can consider this as a normal drug like hypertension, blood pressure drug, diabetes drug, or any respiratory drug or any antibiotic, any common drug, not talking about COVID related drugs or vaccines, which actually takes a normal time to, from the time it actually the drug molecule, we are going to hunt for that till the drug gets approved. This is the entire time. So we are investing our so much of time in taking out one of the drug. Okay, a person's 1/3 career will go inside the thing. Then, apart from that, we are also putting so much investment, that is around $1 billion average investment as per the US. I'm just taking out. Maybe the data is old and now it's 1.5. I cannot comment on that. But itself, $1 billion is too much for a company to pay for a new drug or invest into the new drug. It is almost, in American terms, it is almost 665 plus employees salary if it is 100,000 salary per year for 15 years. If we are paying that much of salary for these many people for 15 years. So this much of amount we are putting just to take out one new drug. Okay. So if we are putting so much of money and if we are investing our so much of time into this entire thing, so why not we are putting some amount of time and some amount of money in building up a strong pharmacovigilance system? That is the main question to understand. And yes, then we need to do it. We have to make it. Okay. Because if we are not going to do a strong pharmacovigilance after post-marketing, if we don't have the good pharmacovigilance system in hand, then the drug can be easily again rolled out of the market if it is not doing good. There are many such circumstances or drugs available, the names are available, which are from the big companies which are rolled out of the market because they are not able to do the good pharmacovigilance in the very beginning years of their career, this drug career. Okay, so they just get failed. This drug get failed, and because of that, this much of amount of money what they have invested, and so many people's experience or years of experience they have invested into it, it is all wasted, null and void. So that's why we need to put up a strong pharmacovigilance system. Then only we can reap the benefit out of it. Apart from that, if we just see the approval of a new drug, it is a massive undertaking. Okay, massive undertaking in terms of time, in terms of money, and that's why PV is again becoming very important. Selecting the right partners who prioritize in sync with you, that is another important thing while we are getting the approval of a new drug. If we have the right partners, maybe this entire time can be come down. Okay, maybe the investment can be shared with other partners if we got the right partners. That is another important thing. Focus on high quality and fast turnaround in this 21st century where we are we are heading in the 2021 digital world. Everybody want the fast turnaround. So maybe you are thinking since April that when the vaccine is going to come out, why they are not going to go for the phase 2 and 3 so fast? Everybody is so much conscious in this thing. Every day we are watching news. Reason being, now we want everything to be fast. Okay, and apart from that, the high quality should be there. That is another expectation. Now if you want everything fast and the high quality, you need to put more amount of time and more amount, I'm sorry, no, more amount of money in that, more people in that. And if you're putting all these things, you're actually increasing your budget. So, and all in all, I'm not going for budget part, but all in all, I want to say that if you are going for a new approval of the drug, all these massive undertakings you need to consider. And if you're doing all these things, PV is itself hand in hand becoming very important because that is the way you can get your benefits. Talking about the terms of manufacturing industries, if they are thinking in that way, then PV is becoming so important. Yes, if we think from the public safety, PV is becoming very, very important because if the new drug is coming in the market, it has very less experience in the market. What are the side effects going to come? So PV is becoming very important from that perspective also. Okay, and the last part, approval of a new drug goes a long way in avoiding the missteps and moving your drug program closer to success. General overview on the drug discovery part. So the complexity in the drug development has increased many folds over 40 years. 40 years ago, if you see the historical part, the drug to take out the new drug is very easy, or was very easy at that time. There were not so many regulatory authorities rules, regulations, and things. Very hard to track the problems right away. Quality issues can be ignored. So there are many things. But now, after 40 years, a lot of complexity happened in this entire thing. Okay, so drug discovery process itself becomes so complex nowadays. A lot of new things which we need to consider as per the new guidelines, requiring the preclinical testing, investigational new drug applications, and the completed clinical testing before marketing approval. Maybe some of these things were not there 40 years ago. Okay, the drug can be easily tested into the human beings or maybe just into the animals and can be taken out in the market. But nowadays, we need to go with all these different phases. We need to produce all these different documents in front of the authorities. Then only we can get the approval. So that's one of the reasons that it's becoming very complex. Generally, the new drug applications, maybe we are going to use from here onwards NDA. So it's a new drug application, which we are actually filing while the drug is getting into the market. Getting into the approval phase. At that time, we are filing this type of application. Generally, new drug application or biologics license application (BLA) are reviewed comprehensively before approval, and then the drug performance is submitted to regulatory agencies for post-marketing studies. So this is the procedure we are following. Okay, maybe a few years back we were not following that many complex procedures, or maybe the data were not required. But nowadays, this entire complex procedure we are following, and then only we are getting a post-marketing approval license. The goal, all in all, is to bring more efficient and safe treatments to the patients. We cannot go back 1960s and say that the thalidomide tragedy can happen now again. Reason being, now we cannot afford this type of tragedy. Okay, population increased, digital world is there, and a lot of complex procedures are there, a lot of penalties are there. So all in all the companies and all the authorities, what they want is they want efficient and safer treatments of the patients as quickly as possible. That is another thing. After a through medical evaluation, that's why the COVID vaccines are taking so much of time. Even 1 year is more because of this specific situation. But we need to also make sure, the companies also need to make sure that it is safer treatment. If you saw a few days ago, that is one of the important news, that Pfizer is saying that their drug is 90% safe. Then they started saying 95% safe. And similar with the other companies like Moderna and the Oxford, they are saying that their products are also 90 or 92% safe. So now you can see that this is very important, because nowadays we all want to see a safer drug. We want a quicker drug, but definitely we want a safer drug or a vaccine. Without that, why we why we're not? It's not about only money, but it's about life. If some other problem happened after taking the vaccine, then what is the benefit of taking that vaccine? So that's the reason that all the companies now trying their best to provide the safer treatment. And who is doing all this check is regulatory authorities, who actually wants all these documents to, so that the companies, like all the companies who are actually providing the applications, they can say that their drug is safer. And then only they can get the approval. So this is entire basic overview. Then why the new drugs is needed? So there are some reasons that the new drugs are needed. So I think from here onwards, we can just start up a quick start from the Monday, because it's already 12:07. Now we are hitting. Maybe some of you have some other reservations. So I don't want you to hate or waste your Saturday. So I think we can start up from Monday. I hope that it's going to be 8 p.m. Still, Pankaj is going to, or the team is going to convey the same to you ASAP. So I will see you on Monday again. Okay. Again, I would like to thank you all from the behalf of my entire BCRI team to coming in this session, and whoever is also a guest in this participant list. If you feel good, please enroll yourself, so that you will be there as a part of our this entire session from the beginning. That is something which I would like to say for everybody. You are going to miss the beginning. You are going to miss a lot of things. That is something I would like to say. Okay. So I will see you on Monday. Any questions at the last moment? Anybody else? No? So I understand the silence as no from everybody. So thank you all for coming. And I think now I can wrap up the session.